We begin with the growing number of families caught up in Australia's mould epidemic. As Tim Avia reports, they've been forced to move out to protect their health.
Can't keep living like this.
So you got nothing to say?
I'm not going to be your victim.
Why didn't you do this when we were staying here?
It makes me feel sick, it makes me feel degraded, that I'm not looking after my kids properly.
Mouldy houses risking families' health and forcing them onto the street.
I'm the one who's getting evicted out and homeless because I stood my ground.
You don't get to play with your toys and you don't get to sleep in your own room and have a nice room.
People just don't realise how serious mould can become.
It's a growing problem, with landlords and tenants doing battle in court.
I would just say they're despicable, just despicable.
You're saying there's no mould in the house?
There's no mould in the house.
There was no mould when your tenants were living there?
No, there was mould when they were there, but it was actually caused by their contribution.
Housing Commission tenants as well say no one is listening.
You haven't done nothing.
Mr. Price.
You put me and my health in risk.
They insist their fungus-covered walls and ceilings are giving their children serious health problems.
When we go into bed, it's really cold, but it feels wet.
Peter Leese and Stacey Merrill have been fighting the New South Wales Department of Housing for the last 6 years.
It's literally sickening.
Heartbreaking. This is meant to be our home. It doesn't feel much like a home. It feels more like a prison.
They've moved their 5 kids out of their bedrooms and into the living room, as no amount of cleaning can stop the mould or their health problems. At their wits' end, they've now stopped paying rent until the Housing Department acts.
Either fix it or move us. We can't keep living like this.
We've lost about $16,000 worth of our furniture for sure.
Linda Lehman claims she's in the same boat, reduced to living in a tent after her rental house became covered in mould, which then spread to all her belongings.
Absolutely despicable. I can't believe people can get away with treating people like that.
She's now trying to find a new home which won't affect her health.
At times I've been so distressed with my breathing that I've almost collapsed.
Her former flatmates, Scott and Danielle Brewer, along with their 2-year-old son, are also looking for a new place to live.
You all right? It's okay. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, mate.
Despite mould growing all over their ceiling, they insist they cleaned it regularly. But the growth was actually caused by structural problems with the house, and they claim their landlord, Murray Cooper, did nothing to stop it. Scott filmed this video of Murray and his wife fixing the house after they'd moved out.
They both knew the entire time. The real estate agent would blame the owner would blame the real estate agent, and then they both blame each other.
We frequently hear, up to 3 or 4 times a week, we hear of these complaints.
Fungal expert David Lark says ultimately it's the landlord responsible for making sure a house doesn't become a home full of mould. He examined samples from Linda, Scott and Danielle's rental and found a dangerous spore count.
We definitely thought that it was beyond the limit that people should be exposed to.
It's not about the house, it's all about the compensation.
But landlord Murray Cooper denies he's responsible for the mould. The matter's heading for the courts, and he says Linda, Scott and Danielle never ventilated the property and stopped him from fixing the house.
You're saying that all they're interested in is money?
Of course.
It's a money grab.
Well, that's why they're attempting to sue us at the moment for compensation. We made every single attempt to remedy the property.
Hell. Literally hell. I've been sick for 2 years.
Jason Price and his family say the Queensland Housing Department ignored his pleas for help, and as a result, his family became sick.
So either you get your finger out and get me transferred, then you'll get your little money back, because me and my kids not getting sick no more.
He went into the department looking for answers, but says he's been ignored.
You got nothing to say?
I'll have to say, Mr. Price.
No. Let's just go. You want something to say to these idiots?
Even if Jason gets to move, David Lark warns he'll have to throw out all his furniture. The same goes for anyone else forced to live with the dreaded fungus.
If they take those possessions to a new place, they'll be just taking the problem with them.
Linda's already thrown her possessions out. A magistrate will now decide if her landlord should pay for them.
Well, we don't have the money, so basically we'll have to start again, you know, sleeping on a camper mattress until we can afford to buy a bed.
The Queensland and New South Wales Housing Departments say the cleaning of mould is the tenant's responsibility. Further, Housing Queensland says Jason Price has the option of installing ventilation at his own cost.